This is going to be a series that leads up to beach camp. Where at beach camp we're going to study the book of Ephesians, walk straight through the book of Ephesians, and at the end of the week we maybe can baptize some people, which would be super cool because God does most of the work there because the waves are usually really high and then it's really cold. You can ask Sean. So I got him here and God took it from there. So it's real good. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Bring your own money. Girls, let me just say this while it's on YouTube so your parents can see it. I know I'm the most horrible person for asking you to do this, and I know, but you got to wear one piece. I know, it is super awkward. They don't fit. They're weird. I wore that when I was 4. Yada yada yada. I did not. I tried to sneak it in there. I'm horrible. You can't find them. I'm one of those 4. And then it's whatever, And but please do that and save me that hassle. Okay, thanks. All right, let's start. Fighting is such a part of human nature. We love watching them. You see a lot of guys talking about a UFC fight tonight. We love watching them. Some like fighting. You've maybe seen me and Sean fight a little bit. That's playful. We're not mad at each other, okay? But I have the better record as of right now. We fight to overcome. It's the guillotine both times. We fight to overcome things. We fight for our right to party. Thank you. I had the ... in there to leave room for that. So thank you. We do a lot of fighting, but I think there's so many of us fighting fights that don't actually need to be fighting, that aren't worth fighting. And there is no way we can get through every single fight that we should and should not be fighting or should avoid. But big ones are fighting the past and overcoming issues. So therefore, we are going to look at a fight in the Bible all 3 weeks leading up to the beach trip. A fight that looked impossible. Odds were stacked against the guy that was doing the fighting. A fight where someone our age taking on a task that he should not have been able to fight. And we're going to piece this story. We're going to look at the story and we're going to literally break it into thirds. And we're going to look at fighting prepared, fighting focused, fighting determined, all that good stuff. Okay, so if you got your Bibles, turn in them or turn them on to 1 Samuel 17. 1 Samuel 17:31. And it's going to be real easy if I just go ahead and read all of it and then come back. And that's how we'll break it down. So 1 Samuel 17:31. People are actually turning them on, so I'm going to give some time this week. So 1 Samuel 17:31. So a little bit of a gap. I know we're starting in verse 31. That's a game changer. What about the first 30 verses? I know it's scary. It's the story of David and Goliath. That stuff is really just like the preliminary stuff. Hey, what's up? This guy's named Jesse. Has a son named David. Saul doesn't like him. Philistine comes out. His name is Goliath. We all know about this dude. He's about 9 feet tall. David's about John's height. So that's how it's going. I don't mean to be mean. Okay, I've done this before. I'm going to do it for a visual. John, can you come here, please? Thank you. You really are like the exact height of David.
Give it up, John.
No big deal. Okay. So this is my boy David. He has a lovely sling. He's a hunter. He's a shepherd. Okay. So
watch the ceiling.
Ceiling.
Okay, I'm about the height of Goliath right now. So if I looked at David or John, wow, I just called you David. That's how accurate this is.
Tall as you.
You should be proud of yourself.
If I was to look at John and John was to look at me and go, I'm going to fight you, I'm going to kill you, of course I'm going to giggle and maybe raise my right foot to crush him. Okay? Understood? So this is the image of Goliath. And he would be a little bit bulkier, obviously. He would not be like some frail. Where are the Israelites? He wouldn't be like that, okay? He'd be like The Rock. That's a good reference, right? The Rock? Yeah, okay, so The Rock. And David would be exactly like John, okay? But we're going to learn that John is actually really strong according to this Bible story. Thank you, John. You did wonderful. Can we give John a round of applause? Like a magic show. I like to include the audience a little bit, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so we're just going to start reading in verse 31. And when the words of David spoke, words that David spoke were heard, they repeated them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine." And Saul said to David, "You were not able to go against the Philistine to fight with him, for you are but a youth, and he has been a man of war from his youth." So,
Wait, where are you?
Huh?
30.
How many times did I say?
I said
1733.
33 right now.
Okay.
So right at the get-go, Saul's like, "You can't fight him. You're young, and this guy has been training war since he was but a little boy." Think of it like, I know I shouldn't be quoting this, but you know the 300 movie, 300 Spartans, how they were just trained as soon as they came out of the womb. That's essentially what Goliath is like, okay? He's rugged, he's probably got scars, he's just ripped and ready to rip people in half at all times. But David said to Saul, verse 34, but David said to Saul, "Your servant used to keep sheep for his father, and when there came a lion or a bear and took a lamb from the flock, I went after him and struck him and delivered it out of his mouth. And if he rose against me, I caught him by his beard and struck him and killed him. Your servant has struck down both lions and bears, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be like one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God." Verse 37, keep reading.
Okay. And David said, "The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hands of this Philistine." And Saul said to David, "Go, and the Lord will be with you." Then Saul clothed David with his armor. He put a helmet of bronze on his head and clothed him in a coat of mail. And David strapped his sword over his armor, and he tried in vain to go, for he had not tested them. Then David said to Saul, "I cannot go with these, for I have not tested them." So David put them off.
Then he took up his staff in his hand and chose from him 5 smooth stones from the brook and put them in his shepherd's pouch. His sling was in his hand, and he approached the Philistine. So we got an epic battle about to happen.
It's gonna go down.
And we got a dude with a spear that's probably about 9 feet tall, with a shield. He's got a sword. And we have John with a slingshot, 5 airsoft BBs, and a wicked satchel to his side.
Like,
The epic battle is about to happen. No. Well, yes. But I think when it comes to fighting, and this week's we're looking at fighting prepared, when overcoming stuff, I think there's 3 things we need to know to be able to fight prepared. Point number 1. Know what you have gotten through. Point number 1 is know what you have gotten through. David looked back on his past to prove a point. Now, when he comes at Saul saying, "I think I can take the Philistine on, I'm going to fight him," I'm actually kind of shocked that no one has stepped up to fight this guy when he mocks the living God. "I will take care of him." Saul goes, "Well, you're just a small, puny little boy. You can't fight him." So David naturally goes, "Look here, Saul. You may not know me well, but I have slapped a lion in the jaw. A bear has come at me, and I have defeated that too. Took my lamb back. The lion, he came at me, and I grabbed him by his beard, and I yanked him to the ground, and I killed that too, and took my lamb back. I think I've got this guy." Saul goes, "Well, that's pretty convincing. But let me help you. Let me put on some armor. Because you can't go out there in your tunic and your wicked satchel and your slingshot with your 5 airsoft BBs. You just can't. Okay, we've got to get you prepared. So put this armor on." And that's when David goes, "Well, armor's nice. I haven't tested it though." I don't know how you tested armor back in that day. I guess you like sit it up on a tree stump and throw stuff at it. I don't know. But David's like, "I haven't tested this stuff. I don't trust it." He did not doubt or lose focus in his fight. He knew exactly what had happened. He knew he had tackled the bear and the lion. He knew it. And like the way some of us may feel in this world right now, he was actually upset that no one was actually fighting this guy. It confused him. Some of us in this world, and especially now with all these crazy things going on, it just feels like, am I really the only one that feels this way? But some of us, when we feel that, we tend to go, I'm just going to sit back in my spot. I did a counseling minor at North Greenfield. And in that, I got a lot of help through things. And the number one thing was, what have you gotten through already? And to be real with your emotions. Some of us right now are trying to fight and we're really scared. We feel we're the only ones feeling this. For months when I was going through depression and anxiety and just being scared of what's going to happen next, I literally felt like I am the only one on this earth that has ever felt this way. We should never, and I look back and I tell you about my testimony. Why? Because we should never lose the facts of where we came from. I know you get this sense of just let it go. Just let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Which is fun. This is a side note, but after the 3rd week of August, we're going to do a Disney series, an 8-week series on why Disney got it wrong. It's going to be awesome. Why you can't just let it go. Why you really should wait to be king. I Wreck It, Finding More. I Got Legs, based on Little Mermaid. Okay, so it's going to be great. So we're pretty pumped. Yeah, we're pretty pumped. That came in a Target revelation. But who you were obviously molded who you would be today and who you are going to be. Me going through stuff with my dad molded me to be a little bit more careful in how I talk to Rachel. Me going through anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts gives me a heart for people that have struggled with these things. Because I know what it's like to be there. Now, not once do you hear me going, woe is me, I went through this. For months, I was just depressed and no one helped me. You will never hear me say that. You will hear me on the other side, Jesus got the most glory, Jesus saved me from that, and now I'm not the victim, but I live in victory. You will hear that every time. So don't lose fact of where you've come from or where you are right now. Some of you might come to church with all this baggage of just like, I hate this person, or I feel this, I'm scared about this, I got this coming up, I've got this decision to make, I don't know if I've got this ready, I'm going through depression and I'm hiding it pretty well, besides the fact that I sleep 17 hours a day in a 24-hour day, or I've got this disorder, and I haven't told anybody, or I'm scared, or I'm thinking these things. And don't lose track of that. Keep it. It molds you. But don't sit there. Those that are in the faith and those that have not yet come to Jesus, don't sit there and go, this is what's going to tear me apart. This is what's going to break me. Because if you have this mindset of this will break me, it will break you. And we all have got dark days. And we've all got problems. We've all got trials. You are either coming up to a trial, in a trial, or you just got out of one. That's how it always works. You're human and you're in sin. My thing is, when I want to get us to this point where we look at trials and we're ready to fight, and not let trials overcome us. Because if you let the trial overcome us, or you let the issues overcome you, they will overcome you. You have to fight. And if you let one thing slide, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. There was so many times that I wish going through my trials back when I was younger, of just like, I wish someone told me and taught me how to just fight. How to not give up. How to believe. Point me to Jesus. and no one really could, because you don't really want to rub Jesus' Band-Aid. Here's the deal. In some situations, in all situations, Jesus is the answer, and you only need to hear Jesus. No matter what your situation is. But look at your past, and look at your future, and look at your present, all within perspective. When I look at my past, I walk in victory, and I know the outcome, and Jesus has one. Hey, Will. Good to see you, bud. I will not play the victim. And I don't want y'all playing the victim. Point number 2. Ready? Know that Jesus got you through it. David gave all the glory back to God when getting him through the things like the bear and the lion. He gave him, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. It was all God. Some of us look at getting prepared as a chance to see all that we can do to overcome things. That was the point that I was at. When you lose hope in fighting, you try to fix it yourself. And when you try to fix it yourself, you do things you shouldn't do. I covered up pain, and hurt, turmoil, and anger, and bitterness, and depression, anxiety with drugs, alcohol, girls, and a gun. That was not what it was supposed to be like. Because I didn't want to fight anymore. I was tired of fighting. I wasn't even fighting. I was just done. And there's so many believers that are going through things that just don't want to fight, and they just see the dark side of it. And there's so many people that don't know Jesus that just look at this and go, I need this, but I can't. Jesus is not someone that will come in and make everything just sparkly rainbows and sunshine. Do I still get upset? Yes. Do I still get angry? Yes. Do I still have bad days? Oh yeah. But I don't look at every single one of these things and let them weigh me down going, woe is me, I'm never going to get out. I look at these going, you know what, Jesus overcome this. Jesus overcame this. This is nothing, and I'm going to walk in victory. And not slow down. But the way we try to fix things and overcome things is ignore them. Put our own makeshift Band-Aids up. You know, doing sports, Xbox, PlayStation, friends, drugs, alcohol, girls, boys, clothes, lack of clothes. Food, sleep, putting on one real good show, thinking you're covering it up and Jesus doesn't see when you're coming to church every time the door's open. When Jesus looks at all of it and goes, I know you're broken and I know you're scared, just please come to me. Just please, just come and listen to me. Come to me and let me fix things. I'm the one that can fix it. Please stop trying to fix it. You will not be able to overcome it. You will always come up short. But when I come in, I wreck things. You will not know what happened. But there's always that little bit inside of us that's like, I really just want to try to give it a shot first. Maybe if I start coming on Bible study, maybe that'll go away. Jesus didn't invite you to be fake. Maybe if I only start hanging out with my church friends, that'll work. That'll fix it. Maybe if I get here early on Sunday mornings, talk to a couple of the older people, put on a smile, maybe that'll work. That'll take care of it. Or maybe I can just go home and sneak into my parents' booze cabinet when they're not looking, and that will fix it. That will fix it for about 10 minutes. Or I know somebody that can actually hook me up with some drugs. And I know I sound like the old fart here, but I know some guy that can maybe hook me up with this, and that will take it away for about 15 minutes. Or I'm just going to surround myself in sports. I'm going to go to practice every single day, and it's like a 9-hour practice, and I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to devote any time for the Bible. I'll just show up on Sunday, and God will hopefully meet me there. Or I'll just spend more time with my Christian boyfriend or my Christian girlfriend, and they'll lead me to Jesus somehow. That's how it'll work. These things will all fix things, right? They don't sound bad. Some of them do, obviously, but some of them, like hanging out with your girlfriend at church, that's not a bad thing. If that becomes your means to meet with Jesus, then we got an issue. Then we got a problem. You will never be ready to fight when you're just used to others fighting for you, or other things fighting for you. Because David, when he was getting ready, he took the bare minimum. He didn't overload his bag. He didn't make sure, like, oh, I probably should, just in case, bring my backup tunic, just in case. And if my slingshot busts, I'm maybe 5 rocks. Oh, there's one guy I might miss. No, I'll tell you more in the upcoming weeks. He had 5 rocks for 5 people. Okay, I'll tell you that in the upcoming weeks. But he didn't take 5 rocks in this, but I'm really going to have a backup clip in my back tunic, like my back pocket tunic right here, and I'll just in case, he's like, oh, you're out of ammo? No, I'm not, and I'll get him then. I'll surprise him. That's how I'll fix it, just to make sure. David went down, he goes, I know for a fact I can take him out with 1, but he's got 4 brothers, so I'm going to need 5. I'm going to make sure I take this care of it. I'm going to grab this. My slingshot, that'll work. I'll take that. It's on him. He was ready. Saul offered him a sword, a helmet, maybe some backup guys, like a backup crew. They just roll out there as maybe like a dance crew or something. Like they all just walk out there, and then David steps out majestic, and he's like, "What's up, y'all? My name's David. I'll be here all week." No, he's not doing something like that, but he's ready. He walks to Saul, confused. Why are we letting this 9-foot-tall ogre of a dude talk to God like this? Why is nobody doing anything? Well, he's scary. That's it? I'll take him on. But you're a kid. Well, I slapped a lion and a bear in the face. I'm pretty sure I can handle this guy. That's how I picture Saul going, it's a valid argument. Okay. You're not ready though. Let me. And then David's like, well, this is just too heavy. This is probably junk. You maybe got this at Walmart. I'm more of a Cabela's guy. So I'm just going to put this over to the side. Thanks though. Really nice of you. But really, I just need my trusty slingshot with my 5 airsoft BBs. Yeah, all right. And that's them. Saul doesn't even fight it. His brothers get upset, though. David's brothers get upset, go home. You brought us our Lunchables. Now, scurry on home. And this is when he overhears it, and he gets really mad. But if we look at our past and go, look what I've overcome, you haven't overcome it. You haven't done anything then. You're still stuck in it. If I looked at my past and went, no, I tried to pull the trigger on that gun. But before I did it, I loosened the screw and the trigger jammed. Look what I overcame. And I found Jesus. That is not what it's about. But if I look at my past going, I have no idea how it happened. But God rescued me, and He can rescue you. And this is what I went through, the list of sins that I was in, and the list of what was going on in my life. And He wrecked all of that. And I haven't experienced any of it. Since I have not gone through any of it. And there is only one answer, and that's Jesus did it. And I don't know how. He just came, He saved me. And I want this guy on my team. No, Jesus will get you through whatever comes. David looked at this next task of the Philistine and knew God was going to get him through it. Didn't doubt it, didn't think about it, knew He was going to do it. Because David gets a little bold and walks up, and you're going to see, and I'm just going to read this, and we're going to talk more about this next week. But the Philistine in verse 43 said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. The Philistine said to David, "Come to me, and I will give your flesh to the birds of the air and to the beasts of the field." Okay, now I'm a little scared. The rock has come at me and said these things. I'm like, well, I bet he could. That's what I would do. Then David said to the Philistine, without batting an eye, "You come to me with a sword and with a spear and with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. The day of the Lord will deliver you into my hand, and I will strike you down, and I will cut off your head. And I will give your dead bodies to the host of the Philistines this day, to the birds of the air and the wild beasts of this earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel, and that all the assembly may know that the Lord saves not with the sword and spear, for the battle is the Lord's, and He will give you into our hand." That is where we cheer. That is where David gets pumped. Philistine comes to him, Goliath comes to him going, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? Come here, boy, I'm going to destroy you. Feed your body to the birds and the beasts." David goes, "You come at me with sticks and you come at me with a javelin and a sword. That's all good. But I come to you with the Lord. Here's the deal. He's told me I'm going to strike you down. I'm going to cut your head off. And you can turn around. I'm going to kill every single one of your buddies behind you. And the birds and the wild beasts will feast on yours." Why? Because the Lord does not win battles with a sword. He has overruled everything. You will know it. That's a little bold. David's not messing around anymore. He's tired of it. David didn't want to probably have to say that thing. He's like, "Man, I really wish you didn't say that, because now I'm about to go off on you. You said something about my God. You said something about my God. He said something about my God. All right, here it is. All right, I'm just going to kill you. Cut your head off." And you'll read in the story, he cuts his head off with Goliath's own sword. About a 7-foot sword.
How did he do that?
Yeah, exactly. Just tripped on you. Do that thing. Yay! But it was probably bolder than that. But if we take stuff that comes at us, and we know we've gotten through things, and we know Jesus is the reason that comes through, whatever comes our way, we should be able to look at this and go, "You know what? Jesus has already won this battle. Jesus already won it. It's nothing. You try to come in here, Satan, to bring me down, He's already defeated you. It's nothing." And here's the things. The followers of Jesus, the disciples, did this same exact thing by doubting this. Knowing that they got into the past and that Jesus was the only way, they looked at the future going, I don't know. Because if you read your Bible, you will see Jesus feeds the 5,000. You know that we know that story. Jesus feeds the 5,000 with a kid's Lunchable, and he takes his Lunchable, shoots it up to the sky. Out comes a plethora of buffet of fish and bread. Not really, like a Long John Silver's buffet. But hey, they're into that. Okay, probably not fried. That's gross. But seriously, you turn over a page. Jesus feeds the 4,000. 1,000 less. And Peter looks at Jesus and goes, I got no idea how you're going to do this. To which Jesus goes, You're kidding, right? I just fed 5. Peter, for crying out loud. Need food. Come food. That's my paraphrase, obviously. Jesus didn't need food. But 5,000, and they're only counting the men there, so there was probably about maybe 10 to 13,000 people there. Jesus feeds all of them where they have to-go plates after. You flip over a page, Jesus feeds the 4,000. Peter looks up and goes, I got no idea how you're going to do this. 4,000 meaning there's probably about 8 to 10,000 people there. And he looks and goes, I got no idea. How are we going to do this? Peter had forgotten everything he just did. He just recently did. Within a day, he's forgotten it already. Some of us do this. We've gotten through anxiety, we've gotten through our different troubles, and we look at our trouble and go, I got no idea how this is going to happen. Because you're not fighting. You've given up. Christians are called to fight, and fight with Jesus. Stop trying to fix everything by yourself. You will not be able to fix it. If you could fix sin, we wouldn't have had to have Jesus come to the cross. I'm just going to say it. But you can't. You won't. That's why God stepped in and says, I know how to fix it. I'm going to fix it. Jesus, it's time for you to go. And Jesus, whipped to a bloody pulp, shredded for our sins, walked his crossbeam up a hill to the place of the skull, mountain of the skull, Golgotha, nailed railroad spikes through his wrist and his ankles, and he died there. He died. He stopped breathing. They put him in the hole. And Jesus had said, I'm coming back, and still everybody around him go, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back. And what did he do? Jesus in 3 days said, thanks for the place for a little while. My name's Jesus, and I told you I was coming back. I've defeated sin. I've overcome. Do you want to play the victim? Because the victim's still in the tomb. But my God, my Jesus, and I will talk about him like this, he walked out triumphantly in victory. Nothing stood in his way. I love the little Jesus storybook Bible that they make for kids. It's such a cool thing, and I'm going to start bringing it. But they talk about the rock being something that no man could come in or out. That tomb is empty. Jesus is out of it. So why would we not want that guy fighting our problems and fixing things for us? Why would we not go to him? I see more people in the church that are too manly to talk to God to fix their problems, that they can fix it on their own. Or no woman needs this to help. They'll just do it on their own. I've seen that in so many ways in the church, and I've seen that destroy so many people. We know one girl, me and Rachel do, that hasn't stepped foot back in church because she wants to fix it on her own. And she is going from guy to guy. She is tossed from household to household. Her parents are split up. Doesn't talk to her dad anymore. And she's trying to fix it. I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like she's doing too good of a job. I know several people where a parent has lost this, maybe a parent is separated. They're going through this, they're trying to fix this, they're covering up with this, they're covering up with that. They think they can do this, so they change this, they change that. And it makes them feel better, but that is not the point, and they're still messed up, and they're still worried, and they haven't overcome it. They don't know how to overcome it. They've done everything. They've tried doing this, they've tried wearing this, they've tried doing this, they've tried putting their faith in this rather than in God. They've tried to avoid things like this just to make themselves feel a little bit better and look a little bit better on the outside. They're fighting the wrong fight. The fight that we need to fight is, Jesus, take care of this. It's all you. I'm calling Christians to fight, and I'm calling people that aren't Christians, that don't know Jesus, to look what you can have. A God that has busted out of a grave, that is living, breathing, still to this day, that says, I know what you're going through, and I paid for all of it. Let me use that to overcome. Invite me in, and I will destroy all of it. What are we waiting for?